Viertaler with your Radio Servi-Tech update for Friday, July 8th, 2011. We head to western Kansas, where Servi-Tech agronomist Brian Yonker says that recent drought conditions has forced some growers to take drastic measures out in the field.
Hot and dry weather is the story once again this week out here in the western third of the state, and this heat wave has started to take toll on many of the area crops. The corn crop is going backwards quickly, and a lot of farmers aren't able to keep up with their wells and no rainfall. Some farmers are having to sacrifice upwards of half of a circle to try to keep at least one half of the circle alive. This hot weather has forced a lot of insect pressure to come onto the corn as well, as many farmers are starting to deal with spider mites, beetles, and also a few grasshoppers here and there. The soybeans are being irrigated continuously as possible, and a lot of the soybeans have reached the 5 to 7 trifoliate leaf growth stage. Weed control has been the main issue this year in soybeans, and a lot of farmers are having a little bit of problem killing the glyphosate-resistant kochia once again. The alfalfa second cutting is wrapping up, and a lot of farmers are debating whether to try to push a third cutting based on the water situation. The cotton is reached pinhead square to 1/3 grown square, and so far, here in the last week, the insects have left the cotton alone. Many farmers are finding themselves irrigating cotton just to keep it from stressing out here in the Sublette-Satana area. The phyllo is anywhere from the 4 to 7 leaf growth stage, and a lot of farmers are gearing up to clean up any weed pressure that might come along here lately. With your weekly Servi-Tech update, I'm Brian Yonker.
It's a different story in eastern Colorado, where Mike Ferrari says that heavy rains and strong winds are making for some scary-looking cornfields.
The weather this past week has been a little bit on the unsettled side. We got the monsoonal flow coming into northeastern Colorado, which usually brings some pretty good storms, heavy rain, some hail, and some wind. Hasn't been a lot of hail with the storms, but we have had some strong, heavy downpours and strong winds with these storms, and it's made for some ugly-looking cornfields on the north half of Yuma County. Most irrigated corn runs from 9 to 12 leaf. We're kind of in that rapid growth spurt stage where the tops are outgrowing the roots, and the stalks tend to be a little bit on the tender side. And, of course, when we got that going on, and then we get the 1 to 3 inch rainstorm with 60 to 70 mile-an-hour winds, it tends to make for a mess. So we've been looking at a lot of lodged corn, some green snap, not too much on the green snap, I guess. But, yeah, we've got some cornfields that just have been blown flat, mostly due to poor brace root development, some of it rootworm feeding, but really mostly it's just, there isn't much of a root system under this corn yet. It's all tops. But some of it's starting to stand back up. It's looking a little bit better towards the end of the week here, and we just need Mother Nature to kind of leave us alone on the wind side of things for a little bit until we can get some brace roots back under most of this corn. So I guess most of the recommendations for this week has been for some drier weather and more brace roots. On the insect side of things, we're seeing some increase in activity there. Grasshoppers and corn borer, we've actually made some recommendations this past week for some control in some fields for those two pests. Of course, the number one pain in the neck on the insect side would be rootworm. I don't even know if we're at mid-hatch on some of these fields yet. A lot of this traded corn is getting, you can see some pretty good pressure in these Herculex Extra and the VT3 fields. I haven't seen any larvae pupating yet. You can find some larvae that look like they're going to be feeding out there for about another month. And so we're hoping for just increased root activity just to stay ahead of it. We have made some rescue recommendations on some of the traded corn because of the rootworm pressure. So we're going to be babysitting those for at least another couple of weeks, I'm afraid, because like I said, I haven't seen a pupating larva yet. We're probably about midstream on some of our heavier soils. The sand rootworm is pretty much, again, we're not done, but I think we're on the backside of it. But on some of our hard ground fields where we've got traditionally some pretty good pressure, it's pretty touch and go right now. So we're kind of keeping an eye on that. On the disease side of things, we really don't have too much GLS pressure in this part of the world. I mean, it's kind of a hit and run thing. Our main bailiwick this time of year is Goss's wilt, and this might be shaping up to be a good Goss's Will year, at least for the disease anyway. I won't say for the corn. We've had a lot of hail, we've had a lot of wind, and we're seeing Goss's probably about as early as we've ever seen it. It's a little too common to find in a lot of fields on hybrids that are supposed to have good tolerance to it. So doesn't mean necessarily we've got a train wreck coming, but definitely another area of concern as far as the Goss's goes. We could be seeing some ugliness here towards the end of the season if it continues at the rate that it's showing up right now. So dryland corn, the winds and the rains are kind of hard on it too, but anytime we get rain on dryland corn, it's a good thing. There's some lodging in some of the dryland stuff, mainly because, again, poor brace roots. We've had some really hot, dry weather, and top soil was a little on the hard and dry side, and now that we've had some rain, those plants will straighten back up. Most of that corn's only 7 to 9 leaf. It should straighten right back up and get some brace roots into the ground and anchor itself down. So we just got finished up spraying most of that stuff here last week or so. And with the rains, a lot of the dryland's looking pretty happy and looking like it's got some good potential. And as far as wheat harvest, about as quick as it started, it shut down. We had some combines in the field earlier in the week, and as soon as they got started cutting, it wasn't but a few hours before they got rained out. So nothing's moved since. Really, no early indications. I mean, everything's in the sandier stuff. Some of the stuff that probably has the poorer potential looks like it died 2 or 3 times from drought, then got hailed on, that kind of stuff. But there's wheat out there. It's amazing how tough that plant is.
Finally, we head to south central Nebraska, where Servi-Tech Director of Education Orvin Bontrager reports that the rain has been just right to keep irrigation down on most area fields. Unfortunately, he says, there have also been some heavy rains, wind, and hail.
Here on this Friday morning, we've been enjoying some very humid conditions here in Nebraska the last 7 days. It cut the water use on the corn down from what it probably normally uses, but we've had some humid days, very good growing conditions, though, for the most part. Here locally in the south central part where I work, we've got some timely rains to help us keep down on irrigation. Some of them just got started irrigating, and then we got some rains here to shut us off here again. Unfortunately, we've had some heavy rains in places and winds and hail, especially east and north of where I'm at, and causing some breakage and crop damage and 3, 4, 5 inches of rain, which is way too much rain at one time to hurt the crop. Right here locally, things look very good, though. The corn, some of the bigger corn is in that V14 to 15 stage. It'll be tasseling a week from now, starting to tassel a little week from now. The last 7 days, some of this has grown over 4 inches a day, so it's really growing fast. As a consequence, any wind gusts, there's a little green snap in some places on some of the hybrids. We're picking up a little bit of corn borer on the non-BT refuge corn and some of the white corn and the seed corn. Keep coming in here the last week. Something to be aware of. They're not going away, and they keep dribbling in a little where some treatment is going on the first generation European corn borer. The leaf miners that we've experienced the last few years continue to be in many of the fields, although they seem to be at a lower level than a year ago, but I do have some fields that are very heavy yet. I guess we're letting them go for the most part because of the control. It's kind of an iffy situation, but we still have the leaf miners that are on some of these fields that we have to deal with. Barring any new rain here, we will be starting to irrigate again here in the next few days as the fields dry out a bit. The soybeans are in their full bloom. The lower part of the plants are starting to get some small pods on some of the early planted beans. Probably one of the biggest things here the last week we've seen is some of the water hemp that has been hard to control with straight glyphosate products. It seems like especially if a grower applied the glyphosate late in the evening when the wind is down, we've experienced some poor control, and we've had to come back in and retreat some of those fields to try and clean those up. But as we're seeing in many places, that particular species of weed is getting harder to control all the time with straight glyphosate without the other products in there. We won't be watering the beans yet for another week yet. We'll wait till the pods start elongating a little bit. But they are closing their canopy there fairly rapidly now with the rains that we've had. If you've got any alfalfa, the second cutting has been laying on the ground for a while. The hot, humid, or especially the humid conditions have kept that hay from drying, and now some more rain on it. It just hasn't been a very good year for second cutting alfalfa.
Don't forget to keep your radio tuned here every Friday for Radio Servi-Tech, your best in the field agronomic information. For more information about Servi-Tech, visit us online at servi-techinc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, Vimeo, YouTube, and all across the internet.